Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Theorist and welcome to another exciting episode of The Retro Club, the video series that takes a TV show that's not around anymore and is kind of classed as retro, and we talk about each episode as the seasons progress and explain how we feel about it, go through the plot and any Easter eggs or references that we've noticed through the episode. We are currently on Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 1 Episode 10 called Prophecy Girl. Now, if you've seen this episode before, you know that we break it down into the plot, then we talk about how we feel about the episode, and then we'll go through the Easter eggs. In this episode though, because it is the final episode of Season 1, I'm going to add a little extra element at the end called Season Review, where we'll go over the entirety of the season itself, and what's the best bits of it and what we think is kind of weaker elements of it. So let's begin with Prophecy Girl. Alright then, so episode Prophecy Girl begins like most episodes of the early seasons of Buffy does, and we start off in the Bronx, which is the club that all the high school people go to, and we have overvoice of Xander sounding like he's trying to ask someone out. We assume, because of the way that the episode's gone so far, he's asking Buffy out, but in fact we find out that actually he's practicing on Willow because he's trying to book up the courage to ask Buffy out. Willow seems to be thoroughly enjoying herself because, as we know, Willow's got the hots for Xander, and Xander kind of knows, but kind of doesn't, we don't quite know. And yeah, he's like, oh my god, I can't do it, and he goes through all these corny ways you could ask her out. And Willow's like, oh no, come on, just keep practicing on me. And Xander's like, well, where is she anyway? And she's like, the usual. And then we cut to Buffy kicking ass against a vampire who clearly looks like he thinks he's got the upper hand on her. Smiles as he knocks her to the floor. She does one of the cool Slayer flip ups. They do it in Power Rangers. It's when they do the whole flip themselves up from being on the floor kind of thing. And the vampire's like, growling with a smile until Buffy reaches behind her, pulls out the stake, grins at him, and he's like, and she punches, kicks, stabs him, and it's like, well, that's one of the quickest way Buffy's dispatched of a vampire yet. We then flash forward, and we see that Giles has managed to get hold of the Codex, which is a diary that he asked Angel to get for him in a previous episode. He begins to read it, and unfortunately he reads that the Master will rise, and when Buffy goes to face him, she'll die. And it's like, oh no. We then get the intro music kicks in, and the next day Buffy then goes to the library to meet Giles, and she's like, Giles, it was so horrible last night, I almost died. And he's like, what? She's like, I almost broke a nail. And it's like, oh, typical Buffy. Giles is there, stubble all over his face, clothes a bit messy, and it's like, Giles is going through some stuff. He's just read that his Slayer's going to die. He's not taking it well. And she's like, I can see you're not that bothered, so I'm just going to face my fate. And he's like, what? Biology. And then we get a nice little scene where Willow, Xander and Buffy are walking out of clear class, and Buffy's like, oh my god, that was horrible. And Xander's like, that was boring. And Buffy's like, no, boring doesn't cover it. And shockingly, even Willow's like, yeah, I'm a nerd, and I was bored. It's like, ooh, eesh, bad class. And Xander then turns to Willow and goes, Willow, I think we got that thing to go do. And she's like, yeah, that thing. You know, the classic sort of line where the friend's trying to get rid of the other friend. Xander then sits Buffy down, and he progresses to try and ask her out. Buffy tells him no. She tries in the nicest way possible, but Xander doesn't take it very well, and so he gets quite upset and a bit nasty. He's like, oh, clearly someone's got me dead to get with you. And she's like, whoa. He's like, oh, whatever. And walks off. We then get Buffy then goes to later on. We get Miss Calendar, who is the witch that helped Giles out, banish the demon into the book. goes to Giles. Giles is looking really scruffy now. After there was an earthquake that happened that clearly shows the end of the world. She then goes to him and goes, Giles, look, I've got a bunch of information offline that says that the end of the world is coming. Can you explain? And he's like, well, yeah, it's going to end soon. I'm reading up on some stuff. I don't have time to banter, I'm sorry. Basically, shoes are off. And he makes a phone call to someone saying, I need to see you. Yeah, I know. Come after sundown, meet me in the library. We then get Buffy, and she's washing her hands. She goes to wash her hands. There's blood that comes out where the water should. And she's like, okay. And she goes to Giles, and she's like, and she mumbles to herself because she can hear Giles in the back. She's like, Giles, I'm not going to believe this. And she overhears Angel and Giles talking, and Giles basically says, look, the codex you gave me, it tells us that Buffy will face the master and die. And Angel's like, no, you're reading it wrong. And then Buffy hysterically laughs, and yeah, she doesn't take it well at all. Basically says, I quit, I'm not doing it anymore, and leaves. I forget that earlier in the episode, Cordelia arranged with Willow to go to the Bronze to set up a sound system. Something went wrong. She's then moaning to Willow the next day, saying, look, the guy who, my boyfriend who I tried to set this up with, basically flunked on me. I need to find him. I'm not mad, which is weird, but I need to go find him. And they managed to find him with some friends watching cartoons in the rec room. But as they open the door, yeah, they're all dead. They've all been fed on. And yeah, it's not taken well. Buffy then is home, and yeah, you can tell she's not taking it well. The fact that she's going to die. Her mum comes in and like, hey, did you enjoy that food you didn't eat? She's like, Mum, let's go away for the weekend. Just for a bit. And she's like, what? Yeah, let's go away. I can't. I have my job. And she's like, come on, please. And she's like, okay, I can't. She's like, okay. She then tries on this lovely dress that Mum gave us, like, you go to this dance. You should go. Like, did no one ask you? Yeah? The wrong someone? Yeah. Teenagers. Then rushes back in and says that, look, Willow's on the news. She races off to Willow's house, and Willow's there, like, traumatised, seriously traumatised. We've never seen Willow like this. And Buffy's just like, what happened? And she's like, yeah, there were people killed by vampires, and it looked like they had fun. And she's like, no, it's okay. She's like, no, I'm trying to explain, like, we went there, and I like that room, but it was like it was their world now. The vampires had taken over, and you could see that this is the first time Willow, I think, has properly seen this dark world she lives in and how much it's affected her. And Buffy, this is when Buffy just makes a decision. You can see in her head that, okay, alright then. And Willow's like, oh, by the way, I love your dress. And she's like, okay. And goes off. We then have Giles talking to Miss Chase again, and she's just like, okay, so the Hellmouth's going to open, the Master's going to rise, but Buffy's the vampire slayer? She's so tiny. Right, it's Candace, she's not that much taller than Buffy. And Giles is like, no, it's fine. Buffy's not going to face the Master now. I am. And then Buffy turns and goes, no you're not. No. And she's like, I am. I've made my decision. No, you're not. I'm the Slayer. Well, I'm the grown-up and I've made my decision. No, you're not. Yes, I have. And she knocks Giles out. And Miss Candace is like, what? And Buffy's like, when he wakes up, tell him I said something cool. And she grabs the crossbow. Crossbow that was referenced in a much earlier episode when Giles was like, you're not allowed to use a crossbow until you prep with other weapons first. So, go back. So she goes to go face the Master. And while this is happening, Willow and Xander find out, look, Buffy's gone to do this, and Xander's like, we need to help. It's like, we have no idea to find out where exactly she has gone. And Xander's like, I know. Races off. Angel gets a knock on the door, and it's Xander. And Xander's like, look, we need to go get the Master. We need to stop him. And Angel's just like, there's no way you're going to take the Master out. If you breathe and he'll murder you. And he's like, I don't care, pulls out a cross. And Angel's like, and he's like, I don't like you, I really don't like you, but we need to save Buffy. And Angel's like, you love her, don't you? Don't you? They then race off to try and help Buffy. And before they can get there though, Buffy and the Master are already fighting. And Master easily gets the upper hand over Buffy. She tries to shoot a crossbow bolt at him. And yeah, snaps it. They taunt a bit, and there's this awesome line where she starts off and she's like, oh, you should get someone in here. You got some serious water damage. And the Master's like, oh, great. Feeble banter part of the fight. Fun, weed, and humour. And yeah, he beats her. Gret gets hold of her and whispers in her ear before he kills her. Just to let you know, prophecies are tricky things. You read it, and it said that I was going to rise, and you came to stop me. Well, without you, I can't rise. And then feeds off her, breaks the barrier that's controlling him, and walks off to the surface, leaving Buffy to die. Xander and Angel manage to get there. They roll her over. It's like, she's drowned, she's dead. And Xander's like, what are we going to do? And Angel's like, you're going to have to perform CPR because I don't breathe. True vampires, they don't breathe. So he goes to perform CPR on Buffy to try and resurrect her. Supernatural universe. Buffy has been killed by a vampire, but it turned out she actually drowned because he didn't feed on her completely. She drowned in a puddle of blood, puddle of water that was there. And yeah, they managed to resurrect her with CPR. Supernatural universe, CPR. Yay! And they help her up, and she tries to walk, and he's like, no, you're too weak. And she's like, no, I'm not. And we get, essentially, if you will appreciate this, Super Saiyan Buffy for the episode. Where, yeah, the three of them, Angel, Xander, and Buffy, basically go off, and they're like, do you know where you're going? Yeah, I know exactly where I'm going. And they go to find the Master. This whole time, Giles, Willow, and Calendar are trying to figure out where the Hellmouth's going to open up, because that's where the Master will be. And they were like, well, when the harvest is happening, way back at the beginning of the show, the bronze is where all the vampires are, because they were trying to collect blood for the Master. Well, okay, that must be where it is. They go to the bronze. Turns out all the vampires are coming to the high school. He's like, oh, this is where it is. They then barricade the library up to try and stop the vampires getting to them. And then, where the earthquake happened in the library, there's a crack. A monster springs out, a three-headed, really creepy monster. The Master then looks over from the skylight, looks down, he's like, yes, yes, rise, my child, rise and enter my new world. And as he says that, Buffy goes, it ain't your world yet. She's there. And he's like, you're dead. And he's like, I may be dead, but I'm still pretty. This is more than I can say for you. And they begin to fight. It looks like the Master's still got an upper hand over Buffy because he goes to do the hypnotising grip to pull her towards him. And then he's like, oh no, he's still going to win. As he gets hold of her, she tilts her head and goes, a fruit punch, Matt. Punches him in the face. And he stumbles back and she's like, save the hypnotist tricks and toys. And they're being a scrap. While that's happening, the monster and the vampires are trying to get to Giles, Willow and Cordelia. Cordelia's there as well as Miss Calendar. And yeah, the monster starts to grab Willow and dragging Willow towards it. Giles picks up an axe and tries to hack away at it to try and stop it. He gets bashed by the monster's head, falls on the table, the main table that's in the library, and a chunk of wood sticks upwards. Is that okay? Xander and Angel are being told by Buffy to keep the vampires off of her, and then they go back to the Master and Buffy fight, and he's like, you cannot best me. You no more quips now, ha ha ha. And she looks down, sees the broken table, looks up, and he's like, you will enter my hell. And Buffy's like, you enjoy hell so much, why don't you go there? Grabs him and tosses him down the skylight, impales him and gets himself impaled on the wood from the table, and he starts to fade away into nothing. All his skin and everything starts turning to dust. His bones left. He's such an old vampire. His bones continue to exist. From the Master's death, the monster starts reeling back. They say, "Where's all the vampires?" They disappeared. What about the Master? The Master's dead. And yeah, Buffy saves the day. She died, but she came back. Everything's fine, and the episode ends with them going, "Let's all go to the dance." Yeah, why not? And the episode ends. And that is the plot. And now we'll talk about how I feel about this episode. Alright, so in this portion of the video, we're going to be talking about how I feel about this episode. Anything I like and anything I don't like of it. So yeah, I'll just say straight off, I love this episode. I think it's a fantastic way of ending the first season of Buffy. It has so many of the things that TV shows afterwards used as its formula, which is the hero goes to fight the villain bests the hero, but the hero manages to pull something out of its butt at the last minute to defeat the villain. But it's interesting the fact that they did the whole, like, there's a prophecy that Buffy is going to die, and unless she's going to face the Master and she's going to die, but then you find out, well, if she didn't go to the Master, she wouldn't have died and therefore he wouldn't have risen. But at the same time, you then notice that she's super powered up after she died, so it makes you think whether she was meant to die by the Master, so the Master would rise, but then she would come back even more powerful to be able to have the power to defeat the Master. Really quite cool. They nicely end the Xander loving Buffy arc in this episode, and it's kind of a spoiler for next season, but they kind of stop that, which I love. If you watch my earlier videos, you know that it's one thing that really I didn't like about this first season at all. He still has a crush on her, but he doesn't try to chase her as much in the second season, for reasons when we get to season 2. Willow finally stands up to Xander. It's one thing I missed out on the plot bit is you see in the episode, it's a minute thing, but Xander's in a classroom all on his own. He's tossing a ball at the wall, catching it. Willow looks over, goes to ask him what's up, and he's like, Buffy basically rejected me. And Willow's like, what did she say? What does it matter apart from the fact she said no? And he's like, hey, why don't we go to the dance? You and me, we could go and we can have a fun time. She's like, no, I don't want to go to the dance if you're gonna be thinking of Buffy the whole time. And it's nice because it finishes that character arc off as well, where Willow's been pining over Xander the whole season. She's now had the courage to turn around and go, no, if you're not interested in me, I'm not interested. So it's nice, it ends those kind of like arc things. We finally get to see how much emotion Giles has for, how much feeling he has for Buffy, and the fact it isn't just that he is her watcher, he almost sees her like a daughter now, and the fact of imagining her dying because she has to do her job, he doesn't want to happen. So he's willing to go out and die himself to stop her from it. Which is really nice. It really well developed their character arcs. Miss Calendar and Cordelia essentially become part of the team now. And we end the Master. He was a good villain. He really was. He was corny when he needed to be corny. Like when the earthquake's happening, you look down at me, he's like, it's time! It's my time! And looks over at Noisy One and goes, well, what do you think? 5.0? It's like, he's evil, but he's still jokey. So yeah, it's fun. And he was a good villain. It makes sense to get rid of him after one season. They do have really good villains in the next season. But yeah, whole good episode. I wrote as a note that it's almost self-contained. Like, you could get rid of 90% of this season. Have the first couple of episodes, maybe have the Angel episode, Nightmare and maybe one other, and then this episode. You could have like basically just a 5-episode, 6-episode arc if you really wanted to. But it's a really good finale for the first season. So yeah, I think this is a really good way to end the season 1. Next segment, I'll give an overall opinion of the entire series itself. And actually no, we're going to go over the Easter eggs first. and any notes I've made, and then we'll talk about the season feelings of the series. So, Easter eggs. Really, the only one I can really feel is the fact that Whedon likes to drop Star Trek Easter eggs. I don't know whether it's because the headmaster is Quark from Deep Space Nine, or whether he just is a fan. But he does make a joke in it. He gets Xander to make a joke that when Xander's like, look, we need to go save Buffy. The guy's like, well, we can't. And everyone's like, well, Xander, what are we doing? He's like, what's his name? He says Kuik of the Borg. He basically says Picard's Borg name, and basically says, look, Giles is heartless. It's like, hey, tricky reference. Yeah, the only real Easter eggs I found. There isn't many Easter eggs in this early season. I'm going to be doing a lot of research and trying to find if there is any in the entire show. As the series goes along, it probably will. But the first season, I think because they were trying to very much get it started and everything, I don't think they tried to put too many in. But there was the odd Star Trek one. Now for notes, I've got like 2.5 pages worth of notes here. As I said, I don't always go over everything, but we will have a vague look if there's any fun things. I can see one straight off the bat, which is when they all come out of class in the beginning of the episode, Willow says, after saying, look, I'm a science nerd and even I was born, she's like, and Buffy's like, no, don't say that. And she's like, no, it's fine. Nerds are in. Nerds are still in, right? And then she gets shooed off to like Xander talks to Buffy, and it's like, yeah, nerds began to come in at that point. Late 90s, early 2000s, that's when the nerds and the geeks, we became cool. We were starting to be cool kids. Some of you might not think that, but hey, 6 years down the line, we've got Big Bang that still carries on to this day. Maybe not quite the Big Bang we got to begin with, but Big Bang. Netflix made an exclusive Star Trek show. Star Wars is freaking massive again. Geeks and nerds are in. Yeah. We finally get to find out what the Anointed One was for, which I thought was a bit, half a season, basically constantly having him shot and making vague references to him constantly. It turned out his plan, basically the point of the Anointed One was to go up to the surface, go to Buffy and go, help me. She's like, I know who you are. Okay, go with me. And she leads him into the Master's lair, and she gets killed. That's the whole point of the Anointed One. Alright, cool. Fair enough. What else we got? Cordy being nicer. This episode definitely solidifies Cordy being part of the Scooby Gang. Because she's nice to Willow. Because she wants Willow to help her out, at the same time she has an actual conversation with Willow. It's later on in the episode. And then near the end of the episode as well, she helps out Miss Calendar and Willow get back to the library before the vampires get on top of them. Cool little thing. Pulling on your heartstrings. This whole episode just, wow, it was very dreary. A lot of the episode was. It was good because it was keeping you at a certain level. It was like, yeah, look, Buffy's gonna die, and the whole episode made you feel that, yeah, Buffy is gonna die from this. Which then makes you feel, yeah, the bit where she gets resurrected. And it's got the intro and and it's like, yeah, do this! And she just punches the vampire, and she gets to kill the master. It's so cool, epic, and rocking. It's like, yeah! I do love that bit. Xander being a dick to Angel. It's actually relevant, it's regular, and I know something that I'll introduce in a much later season, a bit of information that may be connected somehow. Yeah, I'll get to that. Anything else? I wrote in big letters, Buffy resurrected by CPR. What? Which, watching it through a third time, yeah, alright, okay. I can kind of see it. At the same time, I'm like, really? CPR? Supernatural world, resurrected by CPR. Okay. Fair enough, Whedon, if that's how you want to play it. Anything else? No, I think that's it. As I say, Easter egg wise, the first season doesn't have that many. It really doesn't. I'm hoping there's more commentaries in the late seasons. First season you have like the first 2 episodes of commentary, but after that there's not much. Yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be more, and I can then add a little bit more into this segment, close my notes. And yeah, so let's do the final part, which is my seasoned review of the entire first season of Buffy. Okay. Alright guys, so this is going to have a group opinion of how I've been told about the other episodes as well. Yeah, I want to do this with each season. The last episode of each season, I'm going to add this at the end. And yeah, I'm going to go over the entire thing. So, looking at it from the standpoint of I've watched every episode of the season. First 2 episodes, fantastic. Great self-contained 2-parter that really give you a feel of how the show works. And the villains, the heroes, the characters, it all ties in really well. Then, at the time I didn't fault Buffy for it, but looking back after the great shows we've had in the last 20 years, I think it's been since Buffy now, almost. 1999, so yeah, it'll be something like that. So yeah, yeah, there is probably 4 episodes I like out of the 12 we have. The rest I don't mind. I think they're fun, but there are 4. There is obviously 2-part of the beginning. There is the Angel episode and the finale. All the rest are kind of very filler. Very, very filler. And if you're someone who much prefers a show more along the lines of Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, post season 2, then Buffy might be a little difficult for you, unless you're going to watch it purely as a little bit of fluff. You want to kill 25 minutes, put an episode of Buffy on. It's fun. It was one of those shows that basically it did vampires before vampires became really cool. And it has rules that some shows continue to use, but at the same time it kind of kept a lot of the old school stuff as well. Holy water, crosses, not being invited into a home, being staked by wood, things that shows like Vamp Diaries continued with the wood thing, but then they introduced the whole like daylight element. Okay, yeah, and 99% of vampires were evil. It wasn't that you got to a point where vampires was kind of, yeah, they're kind of a threat, but most of them are kind of good guys now. Yeah, there was like actual circumstances need to occur in order for a vampire to be a good guy. Like Angel being a good guy is because he has a soul. It's the whole point of why he is a good vampire. There is no other good vampires in this show. Not by end of season 1 anyway. So yeah, that's what I liked about the fact that they made a vampire good, but there were specific reasons as to why he was a good guy. And there's reasons why Angel is one of my favourite characters when we go into season 2 of Buffy. Yeah. I have to point out some of the weakest episodes. As much as they're all fillers and they're all just kind of there, the weaker ones have to be Teacher's Pet and iRobot You Jane. I know I talked about it in the episodes, but they really are. They're purely there to have a central episode for Xander or a central episode for Willow, which is, hey, I've got a love interest, but it turns out they're evil, and by the end there's, yeah, because even though it looks like Xander had evolved by the episode with the fact that he'd fallen for a teacher who can actually be a demon, it didn't change his opinion towards Buffy at all. It didn't do anything to continue the arc. And it's the same with Willow when Willow fell in love with the demon robot thing. That didn't change her feelings towards Xander. It didn't make her more confident in order to go and talk to Xander and go, look, I'm into you, and then have him say either, well, I'm into you too, or no, I'm into you, and then they end it, and that's no more reason for that arc. And it's the same with Xander could have done the same thing and go like, hey, I've got confidence. He asks Buffy out, Buffy says no, and then by mid-season we no longer have to deal with that. Yeah, it's one of the weakest episodes. Then you got the other episodes that was kind of there, which is episodes like Nightmare, Puppet Show, Nice and Outside Out of Mind. Those kind of episodes, yeah, they're fun little episodes that they don't do anything, not really have a show. You could argue that Outside Out of Mind is just like a hint of a group that we meet later in the show, and the idea that there are groups out in the world that understand the supernatural elements of this society. It's not just the Watchers and the Slayers and the demons that know about the supernatural world. There are actual factions of humans that do as well. So that's cool. But yeah, there's like 4 good episodes of season 1. I think there's more as the seasons go along. We'll see. It's been a while since I've watched the later seasons. But yeah. To be honest, my overall opinion is if you want to watch Buffy, season 1, you could basically watch episodes 1, 2, 7, 6 or 7. I can't remember. The episode Angel, I think it's episode 6. First 3 episodes. No, it's episode 7. It's episode 7, Angel is. So watch episodes 1, 2, 7, and 12. And pretty much that's all you really need. Like, you may need to be caught up on Miss Kanda, but the fact that they say in this episode, Miss Kanda says, hey, I helped you banish a demon out of the internet. You could basically say that as that was character stuff that happened in the background, and she became a friend of the group. Yeah, you basically watch the 4, pretty much know what's going on, and then carry on in season 2. That's my overall opinion. If you want to watch season 1, quickest way to do it, 1, 2, 7, 12. Done. Season 1 complete. And then we'll jump to season 2. Next week, hopefully we'll be going on to season 2. I hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, please hit that like button. Leave a comment, tell me what you thought of this season so far. I'm going to continue no matter what. I'm really enjoying doing this, and it gives me an excuse to rewatch Buffy. So yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. We've gained a chunk of subscribers in the last month. And the more subscribers we have, the more people we'll reach, more people can enjoy this fun content. And if you have already subscribed, ask a friend if they would. Bring them along, see if they're a fan of Buffy or Angel, have them come over. In about 2 months, we'll be going on to the Angel season anyway, so 2 months, probably a little longer than that. Yeah, maybe. But eventually we'll get into Angel. And Angel is a good series. I've been doing that along the same time as doing the Buffy episodes. And by that point, probably, I'm not going to promise, but I'm hoping to do 2 episodes a week when it comes down to season 2 onwards. And then maybe 3 episodes a week. Maybe. That's going to be an effort. But hey, I might not have a job soon. Anyway, no, that's fine. So I have more free time to do these videos anyway. And as always, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!